It's impossible to know how a long trail will impact you. You just know that it will. For me, hiking was the easy part, one foot in front of the other every day. For 6 months, I held a literal map of where I was going. It was simple, really, but once I left the trail, there was no longer a set path to follow, and that's where the real challenge began. This past year has been a mix of reflection, growth, and honestly, a lot of struggle. Post-trail life has challenged me in ways the trail never did.
I knew I was gonna do some crying on this trail. I just thought it would be further in than 2 miles. It's been a really hard year. It has been just a little over 1 year since I finished the Appalachian Trail. So I wanted to chit chat a little bit about like the post-trail blues or post-trail depression and like how that went for me this last year. I'm sure it's a little different for everyone because we all have different experiences even though we're hiking the same trail or other long trails. So I think a little bit of backstory might be helpful. Before I started the trail, I was not in the best place, but I didn't really know like what was wrong. I knew that I needed to do something different with my life or just do something for myself. I was about to turn 30 and that seemed really huge, and I felt like I hadn't really done much with my life for like anything that I wanted to do. I'd done a lot of things that other people, had told me were important. So then while on the trail, spent a lot of time in my own head, a lot of time sort of figuring things out. And I think some of the conclusions that I came to was that I was struggling a lot with anxiety and being a people pleaser. I have this desire to make everyone around me happy and make sure that all their needs are met, and I sacrifice a lot of my own self in order to make other people happy, and I did that for years and years and years, and then it was too much. I burned myself out for sure, and I think that led me to the AT. So I'm thankful that I found my way to the Appalachian Trail and to through hiking and backpacking through that. Hiking the Appalachian Trail was one of the first things that I had really done for myself. I was just able to sort of leave my normal life for a little bit almost, get on the trail and meet all these new people. The people that I was meeting on the trail had like zero expectations from me. They didn't know who I was. They didn't have any sort of history of like how I am or anything. And so like I felt a lot more free to just like be myself rather than be who people wanted me to be like I would at home. And that was incredibly freeing and so good for me. And in doing that, I really increased the confidence that I had in myself in order to make decisions, because back at home I really needed input from other people before I would make a decision. Once I got out there, every decision was mine, every single one. Where I camped, how many miles I did. Yeah, I just gained so much confidence, and I met just some absolutely incredible people that helped to really bring that out in me. So through that experience, I just learned so much about myself and really felt like I kind of came back to myself. I know it's really cheesy to say that, but yeah, I did sort of, find myself on the Appalachian Trail. And for a lot of the trail, I didn't want it to end. I didn't want to go back home. I didn't want to go back to my regular life, because the people in my regular life still had certain expectations from me and of me that, could just jump back in and go back to giving and giving and giving of myself. And I knew I couldn't do that anymore. Like I had to be better about not burning myself out. And so I came back and just had all this anxiety again, because I was a completely different person, but no one else really knew that. So coming back was really hard at first, and it was hard for a really long time. Honestly, still some days now, a year later, I still just crave the trail and just want to go back to the AT, but it was especially hard in the beginning because I just wanted to stay mojo. I wanted to stay who I had become, and I didn't want to have to deal with my problems and put in the work. There's also like the stark contrast between hiking every day, moving my body every day, and then going back to my job where I sat in front of a computer all day. That was really hard. So I just wanted to be outside and I wanted to be moving, but that wasn't the reality of my life at the moment. I don't really know if any of this is making sense. Yeah, I think this year, coming back from the AT, I really tried to prioritize myself still and not just fall back into that trap of sacrificing and giving. Like, I love doing that. I love making other people happy and making other people feel good, but I needed to do that for myself too. So I have been prioritizing doing things I like camping and hiking and backpacking, and it's been good, you know, showing me that I don't always have to leave for 6 months. I still want to. I still have some long hikes that I want to do, and gonna try to find time for them, but it is still possible to be home and work full-time and still make time for myself and to be out in nature. And it took a lot of months, but I'm figuring that out. Waiting for backpacking season, oh my gosh, that was hard. Yeah, it's just a little bit of a update, I guess, on how I've actually been. I don't always talk about it in my other videos. I miss the Appalachian Trail like crazy. I miss the people so much. I think about the trail and the friends that I made every single day. I think that's all on this subject. I just encourage everyone to just make time for yourself. It really is so important.
I still don't have it all figured out, but just like on trail, I'm learning that progress doesn't have to be fast. It just has to be steady. One step, one day at a time, with a few zeros thrown in, of course. Thank you all so much for being here and for following along even after the Appalachian Trail. It means so much more to me than you know.